What's going on, people? Welcome to another Conversations with Chike Evans. Today I will be talking to Mr. Dave Benson. Mr. Dave Benson is the host of the YouTube show you can catch on YouTube. He hails to us from New Zealand, although I want to explore more because he said he spent some time in Philly. I want to talk to him about his experience in Philly. But I had the pleasure of being on his show now. You can look at it now. It's streaming now. And I had a lot of fun. I like his energy, and I wanted to return the favor because I want to know more about the brother. Just waiting for him to pop into the room. I hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's blessed. I hope you're having a good weekend. And if you haven't, please like, follow, share. Go to the official YouTube page. I enjoy comments, and I like to get to know my people. Thank you for being in here. I don't ever come on here and just talk. Maybe I should do that sometimes. Get to know my people. Thank you for being in the room. Just waiting for Mr. Dave Benson to pop into the room. Thank you guys for being in the room. Thank you for watching. Quan, what's going on? Dave, I see you. I thought I just sent it. We just did this perfectly. Oh, maybe that was it, Dave. Maybe you had to follow me first. That does help.
Yes! Yes! Come on! I heard you were in the room as well.
Great minds, great minds.
I'm getting loose,
Come
Cheeky. I'm getting
on.
loose now. This
Let's
this
go,
is all
brother.
coming off.
Let's go.
This is turning into the cheeky striptease show. This is 18 years and over. Anyone who's watching under 18, you don't want to see this.
Oh man. Look, listen, first of all, thank you for being on my platform. I so appreciate you. The reason that you're here is because I absolutely love your energy and I enjoy
Oh,
being on your show. And although we have never met, it's something about you, brother. I just feel like you have a real cool spirit.
right back at you, Cheeky. I love hanging out with you. It's so much fun. It was so much fun to have you on the show. One thing I was thinking earlier. You need a theme song. We need to work that out. Like it just
It's
needs to play before Chike Evans and just roll in.
it is so funny. You need to get out of my head because I think maybe 2, 3 days ago, I was thinking about maybe launching a contest for some indie artists to submit music for my theme.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna submit something as well. It's probably not gonna be as good as the professionals, but it's gonna be right on in there.
But listen, I have an eclectic ear. My palate is vast. So you never know.
I don't know if you saw, but when you were on my show, I did an intro for you, and I created some music to go along, which wouldn't let me create Chike Evans. It said you can't use that name. I don't know why, but it said Mr. Evans, and I was like, oh, that's got to go on there. So
Yeah. Probably couldn't use Chike Evans because,
yeah,
he's here.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, he's over there. You can't just steal that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dave Benson, where are you from on this planet? Where are you from? Where were you born on this planet?
I was born in a place called Leicester in the UK,
Okay.
way back in 1980, Cup final day. I don't even think my dad was able to go to the birth because it was Cup final day, soccer, it was a big thing. And I'm pretty sure, he might tell me otherwise, that he was at the soccer or watching it while my mother was giving birth. So he was otherwise engaged. He's a great
Okay.
father, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was absent, but for that he was.
And so in your youth, what's going on in the UK that's inspiring you to be the person you are today? Like, what is feeding you?
It was very different back then in the 1980s in the UK. So everything that we get exposed to these days, it's global. So you get to see all of the shows that are going on. But back in the 80s, it was four channels, I think, back then. So and it was all British kind of TV, very very British. So I was not subjected to all of the other comedy of the world. But man, I loved TV and I loved movies, but back then, where I grew up, that was a no-go. There was no one from Leicester who was breaking out and doing anything. There was no one who was really artistic, and the place I was, you'd probably get beaten up and made fun of if you were a drama kid or if you were a music kid or anything like that. It was just a no-go. So everyone would grow up and they'd have a job, and it would be that would be it. There'd be nothing else. Your dreams would be squashed, and it would just be the job. And if you said the dreams, yeah, it was just a no-go area.
So you managed to squeak past it. How did you do it? Like, what happened?
I've only done it recently. Like the Dave Benson Show's only been around for 9 months. So
Okay, so okay, as a fellow artist, what I do know is that if you don't activate your energy, it will find a way to come out. What did you
that's
do? Because it's in your spirit. What did you do in the meantime while you were, going about your life? Like, how did you release that part of you?
so that's you're absolutely right. That's great perception. So I taught camp counseling in the States. That when I came across, I was in Mercersburg for a Camp America, and I taught children, and I get on stage, and man, I just love the energy. I mean, in like the songs, like just having them be a part of something and feeding off them. I absolutely love that. And then through my day job, it was, man, it must have been about 5 years ago. There was something that they asked us to do. It's within IT and account management, and they said, "Hey, we're doing this thing, and what we want you to do is present how you're managing your account to the rest of the company." And there was 20 of us that had to go, and we want to see what you say and how it's going. And I watched 15 other people who would do a PowerPoint presentation. They would be sat in the smallest room possible, and they would just read off the screen. And there was hundreds of people watching, and they were just reading this PowerPoint, and I was so bored. I mean, you read it once, and you're like, okay, that was kind of interesting, but like 19 times later, hearing the same story. And I said to the people who were doing it, does it have to be live? And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, can I pre-record it? And they were like, sure, go for it. So then I made a huge thing, and I filmed everyone who was involved with the account, and we made this big tape of what we did and how we did it. And all of a sudden, I was in front of the camera, I was talking, and something clicked. I was like, I just got this buzz, and I was like, this is what I'm meant to do, but I don't know how, or I'm not brave enough to put myself out there yet. And from that small acorn, it just started to grow within me and what I could do as well.
Mm. So basically, you produced the production. That's what you did.
Pretty much, yes.
And that's off the strength of like instinct.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, instinct and passion.
Wow.
So I guess, like you say, it's always there. It's just how you access it and when it comes out. Man, I sound
Yeah.
like the power of Grayskull or something, but yeah.
But it is, I think all of us, and this is just, the kid Chike and the grown Chike, they intertwine sometimes. And the kid Chike thinks that everyone has a superpower. They may just not have tapped into what it is. And it's up to you to figure out what that is, because we are all divine and we all are born with special gifts. If you treat it well and you honor it, it will come to you. That's
Yeah.
my belief.
Yeah. No. That sounds like just about right to me.
Yeah. So I just find that amazing that you were able to do that on instinct, and it turned out well like that. And so the buzz, I guess, that you said that you were feeling was you basically your spirit talking to yourself, letting you know that you were in a perfect space.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. And so what brought you to get to the point of creating the YouTube show?
Oof. So it was last year, and I was in quite a dark space at the time. Work wasn't going as amazingly as I wanted, and I was really just in a bad place. And one of my friends, who was a camp counselor with me in the States, was doing a podcast, and I listened to his podcast. And I used to hang out with this guy back in Philly, and I hadn't spoken to him in about 10 years. And his podcast inspired me. So he asked me as a business professional to be on the podcast, and I think he was just reaching out because for anyone he knew to get on. And I said, no, I don't want to do that, but I'd love to catch up. So I caught up with him, and I pitched him the YouTube show, like the whole ethos and what I wanted to do. And he was the first person who didn't turn around to me and say, you're absolutely mad, that's a crazy idea, or try and make it into something that they imagined it was. He just listened, and he said, Dave, you have to do this. Like you've just got to just get it out of your system.
Yeah.
And he helped me to account. It was wonderful. And yeah, he just prompted it, and we willed it into existence. And then, since that first episode, which he appeared on, it's just learning as I go, learning about all of the skills, learning about the camera. But I definitely say my passion. I'm artistic in many ways, but I've got no intention to act. My singing is too amazing for the world to hear. So we're gonna hold that back until we do the theme song, obviously.
Of course.
But 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 man, talking to people, finding out what makes them tick. I speak to some amazing people, and finding where I fit, my place in this. That's been such an exciting journey
Yeah.
so far. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's sometimes in my work I almost feel a little guilty about what it is that I do, because I enjoy it so much, and I get just as much from it as, the people get from, being on the platform. I enjoy talking to people. I loving to know how they tick, where they came from. Um, I guess what sweet spots they've found in their own lives, because all of it is it's going to school. That's basically what it is. It's going to
It
school.
is. Yeah, it's a great education. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. And it's storytelling as well.
Hmm. 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 So your time in Philly, tell me about that.
Oh, wow. So that was so after I did the camp, a couple of the counselors invited me back to hang out with them in Drexel, where they were going to university at the time.
Hmm.
And I was still living in the UK, so I would go back and forth from the UK to Philly as my holiday destination. I don't think Philly's ever been anyone's holiday destination, but I just it was the buzz of the American dream and the American lifestyle that had been pitched to me since I was 10 years old in every single movie that you could ever imagine. And I was
Right.
like, wow, I get to see the university. I get to see these fraternities and sororities and these parties and this crazy stuff. And I was in my 20s, so I was like, this is amazing. And I was drawn to it like a moth to a
Yeah.
flame, just to
Yeah.
just to experience that. And for me, doing that rather than sitting on a beach and like whatever heat, that was more powerful,
Yeah,
making some amazing connections. So,
that's awesome.
yeah, I can honestly say, Chike, that all I did when I was in my early 20s in Philly was drink and party and have a lot of fun.
Dave, I'm seeing a film. I'm seeing a film about, especially what's going on in our world now, and so much negative energy around immigrants and people coming to the country to have the American experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think a story like that, from your perspective of not being an American, coming here, and what it gave you in your own life of just coming here to live the thing that you were told that you could have, and you having that experience, I think that would speak a lot to what's going on right now.
Yep.
Just,
No,
it's an amazing story.
it's interesting. So I was last in the States 2 years ago, and I hadn't been in the States in a long while. And it had definitely changed. I found the vibe had changed as to it could be my age, but I caught up with a lot of the people I used to hang out with in Philly. We caught up in New York, and
Mm-hmm.
that was amazing. But the vibe and their opinions had definitely changed from what it was back then. And maybe that was the age of the possible to now we do a 9 to 5 job and this is our lives, but it's amazing to see you. But yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of marijuana going on as well. That was different since I was, yeah, like, but everywhere you walk down the street, I was like, wow, I can smell marijuana everywhere.
Yeah, it's becoming legal everywhere, slowly but surely.
Yes, yeah. The
Yeah.
guy I was just talking to, Adam, he was a big advocate for it. And I said, Adam, how can you be a big advocate for marijuana when it's legal? I mean, what are you advocating? That's like me saying I'm going to advocate water, but it's already out there, buddy. So.
Who inspires you when it comes to comedy? Like, where do you get your comedy from?
Well, I love I love Carson, I love Letterman from the Talk Night, Conan, Kimmel. I love all of their kind of comedy styles, but I watch a lot of comedians. I do a lot of the Netflix specials, and
Hmm.
I just love the thing I love about comedy is I love the energy and I love the passion.
Yeah,
And to hear people laugh is just to see their soul being put out there and their vulnerabilities being lowered, and they're like, man, I can just enjoy myself without having to worry about it. And that's a beautiful thing. So I love it. I love
yeah,
going to comedy shows.
yeah. I like it too. I just never sit in the front. You become fodder.
Never sit in the front. No, no. Honestly, with my like big bald head, if I sit in the front, I'm just like a target. These guys like narrowing straight on me.
In your
Yeah.
experience in seeing live shows, who's the best live show to you, comedy wise? The best show
Comedy
you've
wise,
seen.
Ricky Gervais.
Mm,
I'd say he was
yeah.
funny. I saw Billy Connolly, which was in New Zealand, and it must have been about 8 years ago. And it
Hmm.
was so sad because that he is such an amazing comedian and such a beautiful soul.
Hmm.
But he was at an age. His Parkinson's was it was right before he finished, and his Parkinson's was kicking in, and he had a
Mm,
moment where he just stopped, and then he started repeating jokes that he'd done maybe 30 years ago, and it was
mm,
almost like he'd lost his place, and he just had something else to back it up. But man, it was such. He's such an amazing person, but it was such a sorrowing experience to see that. And then
yeah,
after that, that last kind of performance, and I was like, oh man,
yeah.
he's yeah. But I'm glad I got to see him. I wish I'd have seen him when he was in his prime because he was hilarious. I'd love to have seen Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. I'd love to have seen Delirious. Can you imagine being in that show?
Oh my God, that's iconic. Yeah,
I
iconic.
mean, I'd have stuck out quite a bit if I'd have been at that show. I think I'd have been the only white person sat there, but I'd have laughed my
No, I
ass off.
doubt it. There were Eddie had followings from everywhere. He was that kind of an artist. People fell in love with him deeply on Saturday Night Live, and once he left Saturday Night Live and he started making his own way, people followed. So yeah.
What was your best comedian, Chike?
Mm, it depends on like what stage of life, because I flow differently. So let's see. Of course, Richard Pryor, Flip Wilson. Red Fox, like all those people were the comedians that were in my family that we grew up with those. I'm trying to think who else. Robin Harris, when I was in college, like he was really, really big. Um, in my adult years, I like Jerry Seinfeld. I like David Letterman. Like I like everyone. Basically, everybody's dope. But what tickles me the most is just basically you just telling a story, and you just happen to have that thing. You're telling the story. You can make me laugh.
Would you dare go on stage?
Me, no. And I actually used to kid with a couple of my people and tell them that I was going to put a routine together because people think that I'm funny, but I don't think that I have that thing where I can put a set together and deliver it that way. I'm just conversational funny. You know, I can tell you something that happened to me in conversation and make you fall over laughing, but on stage with the lights and nah.
It's supposed to be the scariest place. And one of my friends at the start of this year, it was New Year's and we were talking about things which we were going to accomplish this year. And I said, well, the show's a big one for me. I really want to like take it off and move it to the next stage. But I
Mhm.
said, I have to get on stage and do a comedy set. And he's like, why? And I said, it scares me so much. I said,
Mm.
I don't know if I'd be any good at it. I write a lot of comedy down, which I don't use. I just, if I think of something funny that happens to me in life, I'm like, oh, well, that could be quite funny if I ever did a comedy sketch. So I write it down, but I never do anything with it. And I said I've got to scare the crap out of myself and get up on stage sometime in a low bar somewhere in the middle of nowhere that no
Mhm.
one knows me. Just see if it actually works or you know,
Yeah.
if not.
I mean, that's how they say people the greats got started. They just get up there and do it. It's
Yeah.
about your heart, right?
What's the worst that can happen?
I find the safety in hiding behind cameras. You put me on a set with lights and I can hide behind a character. I can do it that way. But on stage out front, solo with the lights and the mic.
Oh, I not so much the comedy. Like I'm going to do it just to scare myself, but the idea, the very thought of getting this show onto a live audience with a stage, with a band, with the whole kit and caboodle, that energizes me so much. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'd let the audience go. I think I'd have too much fun, like
Yeah.
building them up and just playing with them all the way through. And I'd probably get distracted about the camera because there'd be an audience and I'd start to feed energy. And that's what I really love doing. So,
Have you ever in your youth um, portrayed like you were hosting your own show?
no, this, when I was in my youth, I would say that it would have always been, I'd have had some visions of being a singer or being an actor, both of which I would have been horrible at. But that would have been my idea as to what I could do. The talk show thing, I'd say it only came in my late 30s. And I think it was
Mm.
just my passion for talking to people and learning about people and not wanting to just be the center of attention, but to understand what their world is and just pry into it and dig it out and have some fun. I'd say it's come later in life. Not definitely. This would have
Interesting.
never have been as young.
Yeah. I may have shared this story a few times, but when I was a kid, because I grew up watching Johnny Carson, I used to sit on the commode and the vanity would be my guest. And I would talk to the towels and the washcloths because they were the audience and interview my guests. That was when I was a kid. I must have been like 6 or 7 or 8, around that time frame. But that's what I used to do. In me wanting to have a place to pontificate.
Do you still do it?
No, no. I do this.
Well, like that camera's gonna fall over, and there's gonna be a bunch of towels and guys.
Oh my goodness.
But the other thing there is So Carson, Letterman, all of those kind of, well, I mean, Carson went from late 50s to 90s, I think he finished, and then the Letterman picked up in the late 70s, 80s. That was not available to me. So I'd never seen that until we started to get more channels. So in the UK, channels 1 to 4, like I said, it was predominantly British TV, British shows. I'm trying to think of Parkinson. Have you ever seen Parkinson?
No.
He was our interviewer. He was the British interviewer, and there'd be two chairs. There was no desk, no band, two chairs, and he was amazing at interviewing, but it was very straight laced in terms of his questions. Very British. You could have given him a cup of tea, and they'd have been perfect. And it was how did you do that movie? And the other person would go into their answer, and that was our version of a talk show. So I was never exposed to the Carson element. Had I been, it might have changed something, but yeah, I never knew it existed.
Wow. What's your favorite aspect of interviewing someone? Do you have like maybe a point in it that is the sweet spot?
When their guard's down. When they so whenever I start an interview, regardless, defenses are up. What am I doing? Nerves are there. Why am I doing this? And then whether it be off camera before I start or whether it be on camera, there's a moment that I can see the guard shift and it drops. And it may be they're telling a story or they've told a joke or something, and the guard shifts. That's my favorite part, because right there, I know we're having fun. Yeah. And it's the camera's still rolling. We're getting the good stuff, but we're having fun. And it's no longer about them just trying to sell whatever they do or promote. It's about having fun. That's when I really, really come alive and I really enjoy it. And I'm like, all right, let's lean into that fun some more.
Yeah. And it sounds weird. I don't want to say I study the competition. It's not competition, but I look at other interviewers, especially on subjects that I'm going to interview. So if you've had plenty of interviews out there, I would have, researched and listened, because I don't want to talk about the same things all the time. And like one of the things that makes my hair stand up on the back of my neck is when you have someone of stature, especially someone of stature, who has maybe a legacy of time in what they're doing, and they get asked the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't produce a great interview. And the compliment that I've been getting from a lot of people, the subjects and from the viewers, is that I don't ask the typical questions, and that when I have dialogue with people, it's more like a friendship than it is an interview. And that really, that means something to me, because that's what I set out to do. I'm about making relationships. That's why I do this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You've definitely made one here, that's for sure.
Oh,
so,
you're my brother. Yeah.
But I feel the same. So my second guest on was Clifford Starks. He was the MMA Hall of Famer. I was connected to him through a friend of mine. Man, if you want someone on your show with the most amount of energy you've ever seen, Clifford Starks is just that man. So I did my research. I made sure I didn't ask any questions that he hadn't been asked before. And again, trying to get the best out of him. It was my second show, so I was definitely not where I wanted to be. But the prize for me at the end of this is Clifford Starks is in my phone, and he regularly messages me, and I message him. And I said that when I come to the States next, we're going to train together, because I love exercise. And I was like, don't go weak on me. I want some of this UFC training style. And he reached out the other day, and he's got a new book out, and I was like, we're getting you back on the show. It's going to be different this time. Yeah. But he's a friend. It's so cool.
Yeah, isn't it? I love when that happens.
Yeah. So I try to message most of the people that have been on the show and keep some form of connection, because I want them to know it's not just business.
Right.
That's what we call it. So I hope we'll stay in touch. I had an amazing lady who made, she was an illusionist, and she made elephants disappear and reappear on stage. Elephants. Now I'm like, not a rabbit, not a hat, elephants. Like, outstanding. And the best thing was, is I said to her, name's Lynn Dillies, I said to her that my daughter, who's 10 years old, loves magic. And, you know, she would have loved to have heard this interview, but she couldn't be around. And Lynn sent me a video a couple of days later, which she created for children many, many years ago, which was showing them how to do magic tricks. And she's like, hey, Dave, your daughter's going to love this. Like, show her this. And, you know, there was just a connection there. I was like, this is amazing. So, yeah,
Wow.
love it.
It's all about the relationships.
All about relationships. Yeah, yeah, all too well.
And so you're hailing to us from New Zealand. What is New Zealand like?
New Zealand's beautiful. I love New Zealand. So I came over to New Zealand. My plan was never to be in New Zealand. So once I finished with the States, I went back to the UK. I got into the 9 to 5. The company I worked for randomly offered voluntary redundancy. And I was like, sure, I'll take some of that. So I took the money. No one expected me to, because they thought I was on a career path. I went to Australia, but my grandmother at the time said to me, but before you go to Australia, can you do me a favor? Can you go to New Zealand? Because me and your grandfather were going to go to New Zealand back when it was a £10 ticket, which was getting people from Britain over to New Zealand. But he washed out. Her words, not mine. And I said, okay, so I'll throw it into the mix. So I went to Australia, and then I came across to New Zealand. I did the South Island, and I got to the North Island, and I said, oh, I better get a job. I need some money. And I never left, man.
Wow.
I went back to see her 2 years later to tell her. I'd spoken on the phone, but I went back. It was 2009. And I told her all about it and the whole story. And she was at the rest home. And then I went back to my parents' house, and there was a phone call. And pretty much, it was maybe an hour after I left, she died. And she just held on to hear that story. Like, that was her whole world, and she was good to go. So it was so beautiful. I was so happy to have that.
Good, good, good.
But in answer to your question, what's New Zealand like? You got to come over and see UK. Like, it's have you seen Lord of the Rings? The big it's just like that. Like, it's beautiful. The landscape's phenomenal. It's a beautiful place to be. I like to say we're secluded from the world in many aspects, especially from the politics of what goes on globally. I mean, it does hit and affect us in some regards, but yeah, New Zealand is such a magical place. I recommend everyone come here.
What's the weather like there now?
We're coming into winter now, so so it's all topsy-turvy. It's getting colder. It's never too cold, and well, it depends where you are. We do have a lot of snow. It's getting colder, but it's not too bad.
Okay.
So it's hang on. You're in Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been in Jersey.
We're sliding into summer.
Yeah.
Slowly sliding into summer.
But you guys get real cold. Like, I've been in Jersey, like, when it gets real cold.
It gets cold. It seems like when I was younger, it was colder, and we used to have more snow. We're getting less snow now than we have been in the past. So, yeah, it's warmer longer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that global warming that doesn't exist.
Right, that part.
How do you think things have changed in the last few years in the States with the president and whatever else?
Dave, I feel like I have to have a slight muzzle, just simply because, plainly speaking, I'm a black man living in the United States of America. My experience is going to be slightly different than your average. I have different needs, different wants, different. It's just different. So my perspective is going to be a little skewed. I can say it. That's my honest truth. We've seen better. we've seen a lot better. Um, and I think that the powers that be, the ones that are a part of the process and not saying or doing anything, and they're watching this happen, they're complicit to evil. That's my opinion.
Yep, I'd say that's fair enough. I've never seen anything like it. He sits at a table, your president, and he has all of his leaders around him telling him how amazing he is. Like, at no job in my life would I ever sit there and say, hey guys, team meeting. Bob, thanks for being here. Lynn, you're late today. We're just going to start off by going around the room, and can everyone say what's good about me? Can everyone say how amazing I am? And then once we've done that, we're going to make fun of some other people. I mean, how does it happen?
And so this is like I so watch the news all the time, and I wish that they had a segment on the news where they would invite maybe one or two people from the world to come on and you interview a real person, as opposed to these professionals that work in these offices that sit in these chairs, and you're getting it from the perspective of where these people work and come from. Let's hit the streets. Let's talk to the real people and see what they're feeling, and have a segment on the intellectual news with a regular citizen and talk to them about how they feel about what's going on.
Yeah,
It would be a hell of
yeah.
a news show.
I think you've just found a gap in the market there, Chike.
Mm. MSNBC, hear what I'm saying? Because what's in these streets is real, and I think that, and I never wanted to believe it. I don't think any American wanted to believe it, but how the media is screwed and stewed to feed you a certain narrative. And when I first started hearing it, years and years and years ago, it's a conspiracy theory. They wouldn't do that. Why would they do that? This is America. Why would they do that? Of course they would do that. So at this point, it's outlets like this, we have a voice as long as we can talk, and we can tell the truth. We're not bound by any rules or whatever. But at any moment, they could hit the button and all this goes blank.
That's right.
So
It's interesting. Someone was talking to me about journalism and news and how it's changed. So before the internet, or before YouTube, or before social media, the news was always fed to you as gospel, so to speak, dependent on which viewpoint you wanted to look. So, each newspaper had its way of being a national newspaper, or whatever like it was trying to hit you with. But now the information coming to you is so varied that you can pick and choose which news you want and how you want to read and perceive it, which is why a lot of people in Trump's cabinet can pick and choose the news they want and the flavors they want to hear, because people serve it up on a silver platter for them.
And I think it's so interesting in this country that your knowledge of what's going on is skewed by where you live and what you're absorbing. Your truth could be a totally different truth. Nothing else is going on. I don't know. Okay. Because you're not from the States, have you ever heard of the radio show, War of the Worlds, Orson Welles?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was a historic broadcast, and people actually believed that aliens were attacking and that it was going to be the end of the world, because they tuned into the broadcast, and because the acting was so real, they believed that it was actually happening. And it was mad hysteria over just a radio broadcast. That's kind of sort of what I feel like is happening. Like, people are where they are. They're getting the information that they're getting, and they're believing, okay, this is it. This is the truth. This is causing me to hate this next person, when that person didn't do you wrong. They have nothing to do with anything. But because of the narrative that you're getting, that's what you feel like you need to do. And it's going on in different places all around the country.
Yeah, that's insane. If anyone's just joining us, you've tuned into Politics with Dave and Chike. We're just kicking off.
And honestly, I know this is your interview, and
No,
we were meant to talk about you, but this is what I love about this. It can go anywhere. There's no formula or
the
structure.
problem I've got, I can't stop but to ask questions. That's just in my
No, I love
nature.
that. I love that. I love that.
Do you have a
So
script? Do you have a script behind the camera of questions that you ask? Just out of
no,
curiosity.
no.
No?
And to be totally honest, I rarely prepare in a way. I may jot down a couple things that I want to, and I do write while we're talking. Because if you say something and I want to come back to it, I know to come back to it. But I don't do that. Yeah.
We're looking
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
I even get a little offended when I ask people to come on the show and they want to know my questions. But that's not a conversation. That's acting. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
I've only ever had one person ask that, and they haven't been on the show yet. But they asked me. I do a lot of research. I've got a research team now, and we prepare looking into the individuals, and we do prepare the questions that we want to ask. And I've got a teleprompter and various other things in the background that I can see, and I try not to move my eyes too much so people can tell. But yeah, I do a lot of prep just to make sure that I don't forget any of the questions. But
Yeah.
yeah, I go off the cuff quite a bit as well.
Yeah. I think it's necessary, I hate stiff rigid. I hate it. I love things with color and flair and uneven ends. I love that. I love rough cuts. I don't know. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have well, maybe I'll say three, supreme guest of all time that you may want on your show?
No, and the reason being is because I don't know the guests that I want on my show yet. So if you'd have asked me that 5 months ago when I was starting out, I'd have picked off some big artist names or something
Hmm.
else. But I've determined my place in the world for my show. So Kimmel, Fallon, Myers, any of them can take the A-listers. They're all yours. Have them. Enjoy them. They can take the mainstream artists. Have them. Enjoy them. I fit into the world below that, the next level, and everything other.
Hmm.
So anyone who is, I hate saying B-list
Hmm.
actors. That's not
No, I
true.
get it.
Actors who are not getting the main light, I will say. So if you watch, what TV show did you watch last night? Pick a TV show.
Uh, a TV show. Uh,
Yeah,
what show did I watch? I
Real
don't think I
Housewives.
watched a show. I watched a movie. I didn't watch a show.
Okay, what movie was it?
The new Captain America.
Okay, great example. Right, so we've got Harrison Ford, and he would be someone they'd say, main A-lister, we want Harrison Ford to come on the show. What about the people who were in the office, the generals who were supporting Harrison Ford, who probably got maybe 40 minutes of screen time, did an amazing rendition for what they were portraying, but got
Hmm.
nothing for it? Who wrote that? The music that had the emotion and the feeling behind it that you were like, holy crap, that makes me feel like I'm in that moment. Who wrote that? Who played that?
Hmm.
Where is their stage to say, these are the amazing artists
Right.
that have a voice? That's where I fit in. Everything below the spotlighters, I'll call it for them. So my top three guests is anyone who falls into that category,
I love it.
who shift the dial, have a passion. The filmmakers. I saw a trailer for a movie called 40 Days, and it's by a film director called Peter Tackler, and he was portraying a true story of someone going from Mexico into America, and the journey they had to go through. And I saw the trailer on LinkedIn. I was just looking for something. That trailer came up, and I was like, wow! It touched me so emotionally the way that he portrayed that. There was a lot of different dialects and
Hmm.
languages. It wasn't just Mexican and American. There was other languages within there. There was other characters. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I found him and I reached out to him and I told him, you have touched and inspired me with your trailer. The movie comes out, plug for you, Peter, on the 30th. Is it the 30th over there? Yesterday it came out over there.
Okay.
And in LA. And I got him on the show. And within a day, we'd done an interview on what it did for me and how amazing he was. So he was, yeah, that's the world I live in at the minute. It's crazy.
No, and I know exactly how you feel, because that too was a part of my journey. I long time ago, before I became my own ambassador, this is when Oprah first was creating the OWN network, and she was looking for hosts and stuff. She had like an open call. You could video submit your little monologue to see if you were going to be in the running. And I did all that, and I messed up the audition horribly. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. And I was getting a lot of good feedback from it, and it was weird because I couldn't even watch it. It was so horrible to me. Like, I was like, ugh. But I got good feedback from it. And then I got a message from Oprah, and the message simply said, the light shines brightest on you when you shine your light on the other people.
Wow.
And so that set me off on, I can do it myself. Because that's what I like to do. I like to shine my light on other people. And one of the best experiences is talking to someone who you say is on the lower, and watch them rise and then become that. And they have a relationship with you because you gave them an opportunity before they even had an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. That's dynamic.
I'd have to cut them off if they went into an A-lister. They'd be dead to me after that. I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, no. No.
Can you imagine?
That's an interesting storyline, though. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, they don't fit the genre. They don't fit into my. If they make it into the A-list. But the thing that annoys me, I was watching this. It was another Thunderbolts. So the Thunderbolts were doing a press junket. They've been doing it for the last few weeks, and they won in all the talk shows, literally all of them globally. And it was the Thunderbolts. I don't know how many there are. I haven't seen the movie, but there was 5 or 6 of them, and they were all going around in unison doing the press junkets that it's called. No one else was on that press junket, and I was like, hang on, I'm sure if I watched that movie, there's so many other people. Why would you not have the whole cast going out and doing the press junket? Why would you not have the person who wrote the darn thing out there selling the story that they've created? It's just bizarre to me that we skip over and we just go for this bright light.
Yeah, I get that, and I totally understand where you're coming from. And I understood it differently when I found out how it works for the business side of it. So on the business side of it, an actor doesn't really get paid to do the acting work, not most of it. Yeah, you get paid to act, but you get paid really to do the press, because that's where the work is. You have to travel around from city to country to country, still plugging this movie under the name of this movie house that hired you. That's what you get paid for. So that's why you always see the A-listers, because they got paid that money. So now they have to recoup what they were paid by doing the service of the job.
Wow.
The people that are under the big spotlight, they don't have those kind of contracts. They were paid for their time and energy, and then they went home for the day. But the other ones, they have to. And that's why I like shining a light on the other people too, is because they are too actors, musicians, whatever may have you, trying to become better. They need the spotlight.
Yes.
So that's where we step in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like the A-team.
Yeah. Right?
If you can find us. If no one else can help.
Well, they're going to be able to find us, because I see, when I first cyber met you, of course, I tried to look into you to see what was going on. And over time, just in weeks that we've been in communication, you're already growing.
Yes.
Like, how does that feel? Like, to see your numbers just start to...
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's really good to know I'm not from a perspective of seeing the numbers grow, but seeing that
Right.
I'm connecting and talking to
Yeah.
more people. The interactions that I've got going on is phenomenal. I was doing LinkedIn yesterday, and there's people who come back to me and say, Dave, you're doing great at this, but try doing this. It will get more people's attention. So they want me to succeed, and they're helping. And
Yeah.
I've never met any of these people in my life, like not even to talk to. And
Right.
it's just beautiful. So
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the community. I really want to keep going. I've got a team now who's on board because they've taken this as much of a passion as me, and they believe in what I'm doing. So now I've got a social media expert, I've got a senior researcher, and again, they've joined this for love, nothing
Right.
else. So they believe in what we're doing. So yeah, we've got a goal I set. What are we now? June. I'm in June. I'm in the future. But I think by September we want to get LinkedIn to at least 10,000, and we want to grow the YouTube substantially. So that's nearly 600 subscribers now. We want to get that to about 10,000 if possible.
Absolutely. I want that for you. M-
Thank you. I want that for
Mr.
you.
Benson. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, this has been a most enjoyable conversation. And as we wind up, what I normally do with my guests is I normally get them to manifest something for themselves. And so, Mr. Dave Benson, I'm going to ask you, what would you manifest from the universe?
I would manifest this being a financially viable way for me to keep moving forward. So, like most people in our world, this is a hobby passion that I do and
Mhm.
create. I don't want it to be a hobby passion. I want this to be the day job. If I could do this as the day job, I'll never work a day in my life again, from one aspect, because again, it's just so enjoyable. And yeah, I just want to manifest keeping promoting everyone who's doing things in the world to tell their stories. If this becomes more viable, I want to go to acting studios. I want to go to schools. I want to go to various other places and get on stage and promote them and let them know what the opportunities are, and give them the message that's possibly never been given. So
Yeah.
and to hang out with Chike in real life.
Hey, brother, it's been a pleasure. I have been looking forward to this since we scheduled it, and it did not disappoint. I don't know you, brother, but I love you already. Thank you, and good fortune to you.
Right back at you, Chike.
And and
Thank you
and
so much.
I'm gonna say this on air. I am going to be reaching out to you because, like I do in my community, I'm going to be funneling people to you as guests that I think would be dope with your energy to talk to.
That'll be awesome. Straight back. I will do the same. Now
Absolutely.
we've we've got to do an outro. Like Chike Evans. Like it's just got to play.
I'm, I'm telling you, I'm really going to do a contest and I'm going to have people submit. You can be one of the judges.
You're going to get some strange names entering that contest. It's the same song.
I know, I know, I know. Brother, I appreciate you. Tell people where they can find you.
They can find me at theyoutubeshow.com. Head straight over to there, or the YouTube show with Dave Benson on YouTube.
But now you're also on Instagram,
I
right?
am on Instagram. Yeah, I'm on it. You're going to ask me for my handle, and I don't know what it is.
The YouTube show, at the YouTube show. And do you do the TikTok and Twitter or anything else? Are you
Uh,
there yet?
I do the TikTok, and I'm guessing it'll be the YouTube show with Dave Benson on the TikTok.
Okay.
I say this because I've never ticked and talked myself, but it's been ticked and talks for me.
And see, that's a beautiful thing because people can start following you from the beginning and they can watch how you grow. And those people that are becoming new to being in the world of making the internet your business, this is a good template to watch because it's live in action and you can watch Mr. Dave Benson grow his platform.
Yeah.
So check him out. Go
You
for the
can
ride.
you can watch an old white guy who doesn't know how to use the internet properly learn from his mistakes. And but I don't do the single fingers, so it's not too bad.
But I think the beautiful thing is you have a team, and having a team is like mwah.
Yes, yes, I am fortunate. So Takunda, who is my social media manager, he's taking it on a whole new journey. So, and he's in his 20s, so he knows what's going on.
Absolutely, brother. Take care. I love you.
Love you too, brother. Thank you
Be
so
well.
much.
All
You
right.
too.